Hello there and welcome to Transatlantic Touchdown Podcast, the only NFL pod you need this side of the pond. And as always, I am joined by none other than Ethan Walsh of the Arizona Cardinals, Will Godwin of the New York Giants, and it's me, James Roberts, the Pittsburgh Steelers, that will be talking you through the NFL, the highs, the lows, and everything in between. And this week, I want to start off, gents, by saying we've had another manic weekend of football, but unlike last week, we didn't get a hat-trick of wins. We actually ended up with a hat-trick of losses. It's not exactly the weekend we want to come off, Ethan.
No, definitely not. But, that just shows how good the NFL is. I mean, last week we were all winning. We were all grinning. This week we've been pretty miserable. That just shows how good the NFL league is and why people should tune into it. So, yeah.
You just can't predict what's going on at the moment, can you, Will? You don't know whether you're coming or going. You came into the season thinking, we're not going to do anything. You started doing stuff, and then you started not doing stuff. You started doing stuff, and now you're not doing stuff. It's just doesn't seem to have a pattern at all.
I don't want to talk about last week.
The Lions.
Was frankly embarrassing.
The Lions, though.
Yeah, of all teams, the Lions.
Because I messaged both of you, I went, what the hell's going on? And I was like, okay. And you were like, what? I was like, we just lost to the Lions. What do you mean? What do you mean, what?
Well, because both of us were concentrating on the fact that we were also
losing.
Not exactly the way that the Giants will want to continue the season, losing to one of the lowest ranked sides in the entirety of the NFL. Can they turn it around?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it'll be tough, especially this week. But our division being so close, both the Cowboys and the Giants sit at 7-3, and the Eagles are 9-1, and then obviously Commanders, but they're irrelevant at this point, so we don't really care. But it's. I think we're still definitely looking for playoffs, and see where we can go from there. But yes, if it stays the way it is, and we can't pick momentum up again towards the end of the season, we will be looking at a wild card spot.
You're feeling optimistic of a wild card spot?
I know we're going to get playoffs. It's just how that shows itself.
Ethan, Giants in the playoffs? Yes or no?
I hate to say it, but I gotta agree with Mr. Godwin. Yeah,
wow.
I just the way they've been going this year. Obviously Lions result not included, but the way they've been going, I fully expect them to be in playoffs this year.
Now, speaking of another New York team that might find themselves in the playoff, Jets.
Yeah.
That whole division are on winning records currently, which is very surprising. I certainly didn't see it coming, but clearly the AFC and NFC East is where the quality in the NFL lies because all 8 teams are on winning records currently at time of recording. Just making that clear now before you all come for me in the comments section. Currently, at time of filming, all on winning records. We couldn't have predicted that before the season started.
No, I don't think anyone could predict that. Like, not even the NFL experts over in America. No one would have seen that coming.
Whoa, NFL experts right here on this sofa.
Oh, yeah, but
this
in
couch,
America.
This couch. NFL experts on this couch.
UK experts.
UK experts, so the sofa. We're on experts on a sofa, not couch. But another big shot from the weekend for me, it was the Vikings losing at a pivotal moment in their season. I desperately want them to go on to do something good, and I desperately want them to do well because I just enjoy the Vikings, mainly because of Marshall Erickson out of How I Met Your Mother. But I enjoy the Vikings. I enjoy watching them play. I like their fans. We've all agreed that their kit's one of the best in the league.
Yeah.
I mean, just for the helmet alone, it's the best helmet in the league. Full stop. But it's one of the best teams in terms of their appearance, the way that they interact with their fans. Their stadium's great. Their behind the scenes work is great. I'd love to see the Vikings succeed. A little bit of a blip here at the weekend, though. Is Kirk Cousins the right person to lead them forwards, Will?
I don't know. I don't think he's ever been. He's never been the best quarterback. He's always been there. I suppose you could say he's because obviously that was that Minneapolis Miracle, was it? Stephon Diggs, that insane catch that play.
Honestly, that was more of a Saints mistake. Than...
Oh, I know, but it was one of those things. It's like he threw the ball because he had to.
Yeah,
it's one of those things where he's never intentionally done amazing. He's obviously all NFL players are like, yes, we're the best. We're going to be the best. But compared to the likes of Mahomes or Rodgers or even any of the quarterbacks that have won Super Bowls, he's just been there. He hasn't ever got quite to the top step. So I don't know if I think the Vikings are also waiting for that franchise quarterback to come in. But with the way they're playing, they're not going to get it in the next draft. So I don't know.
Well, I mean, who knows? We've got a very stacked draft class coming up. We've already spoken about it in episode 1. It's definitely something that every team's going to want to trade up for. Do you think the Vikings perhaps put a player on the line in order to trade up for a good QB?
Yeah, like Godwin was saying, Kirk he's good. He's just very average.
Do you know who he can have, actually? He can have Mason Rudolph, and we'll take Stephon Diggs for him.
Yeah?
Yeah, just throwing that out there now for the Vikings. If you are watching or listening, we'll happily take, Diggs off your hands. We'll give you an average QB because you've already got one. 2 together should be good. That I see that as a good trade, to be perfectly honest. But we don't use him anyway, and he was useless when he was QB1.
Yeah, I mean, the compensation, Mason Rudolph or Stephon Diggs. Yeah, that's about right.
That makes sense.
Sure.
Yeah, Godwin's nodding his head. Definitely. But turning our attention away from the Vikings now to another potential Super Bowl contender, the Buffalo Bills. Again, a poor week.
It was, but can I just mention their fans? Because their fans have been absolutely unbelievable. I mean, their game got moved, obviously, to Detroit because of that snowstorm, and those Bills fans just went out in their thousands and thousands. And I saw some videos online of them actually digging out some of the players' cars to help them get on the roads. Wow. I mean, the fan base is just incredible.
That's amazing to see, isn't it?
It's unreal.
We see it time and time again with Green Bay because there was a really interesting video on YouTube, and I urge anyone to watch it, really. There's an interesting video how they prep Lambeau Field for a game, and most of it is done on volunteers, especially when it snows and all the stands are covered in snow. They rely on volunteers, fans coming down to the ground and actually clearing it all so that they can get the game going and, shoveling the car park and shoveling the pitch and all this sort of thing. It's like, there's some great fan bases across the league. There really are. And people really do come together. Who is the best fan base, Will? We'll come back to the Bills and their result.
Yeah.
But you bring up fan bases, and I'm intrigued to see who we actually think has the best fan base.
I think it's quite difficult because there's a range. Like, so even with like the Jags, you've got a huge fan base over here in the UK, as well as their home in Jacksonville. I mean, I'm biased, so obviously I would say Giants, but I think it's difficult. It's all the work people do behind the scenes, which we don't often hear of or see. I'm gonna have to say I'm gonna say Giants, but I would say if I had knowledge of others, I might be swayed to pick others.
Interesting choice, very interesting choice. Not the choice I would have gone for, not the choice Ethan would have gone for, because he was definitely rolling his eyes so much I thought they were going to pop out the back of his head there for a second. Ethan, who's the best fan base in the NFL?
Well, I just mentioned them, the Bills Mafia. I mean, you love to see it. They turn up every single game. They're loud. They jump through tables. I mean, they're just incredible.
And I'm going to counter you straight away.
Yeah.
Packers. Again, for that video, the amount of volunteers that get the club actually working, and the fact that I believe it's their stadium home games are sold out for the next 3 years or 4 years.
Yeah, there's actually a massive waiting list.
Exactly, there's a huge waiting list. They have a huge support from such a tiny little area. The fact that they can pack out Lambeau Field every single week, it is unbelievable. And that sort of support isn't really replicated across the league. I mean, right down at the bottom of the pile for me is, unfortunately, no offense, the Atlanta Falcons. Because I'm sorry, but if your soccer team's chants are, I believe that we will win, you can't probably have a very good fan base for any other sport in the area. Because that is just dismal. When you compare it to Premier League chanting, which we won't say on here because we're a family-friendly show.
Have you seen also their stadium, Mercedes-Benz Stadium as well? That's an awesome place. Surely you'd have thought with a facility like that you would have had a more involved or bigger fan base than one they've got. I know they're not doing great at the moment, but still, you're a fan with them when you're winning and you're losing. Like, hence why we're still fans of teams.
This is
that
an
have
interesting
historically
point,
not
though,
done-
because lots of fans in America for NFL teams, they are very much localized, and you support your local team, you follow them, ride or die. But they do ebb and flow with how the team are doing. So, because I have a friend out in the States, and I know that they only really support or come out in support of the Philadelphia Eagles when they're actually doing well. So they were really loud when they won the Super Bowl, and then the last couple of years have been sort of blah, blah, blah. And now that they're doing well again, they're like, oh my God, I love American football again. So it really does ebb and flow. That point is so valid, where it does ebb and flow with like how the team are actually performing. So it is an interesting one. And speaking of the Eagles, still going strong.
Still going. Hey, Super Bowl.
A little blip against Washington, which I personally found hilarious.
It was amazing. Amazing. Loved it.
But they are on the right tracks, Ethan, for what is turning out to be one of the best seasons we've seen from a team for a very long time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm feeling very confident in myself with my Super Bowl pick. I know Godwin's not too happy about that. But no, yeah, they're just performing.
Well, that's because this sucker's picked the Bengals, so he's going to end up singing. Just to keep you all in the loop. Basically, Godwin has picked the Bengals for some reason to win the Super Bowl. If the Bengals don't win the Super Bowl, and one of our teams that we have successfully picked will win the Super Bowl, which undoubtedly will happen, Godwin will have to perform the number from West Side Story entitled "When You're a Jet" in New York Jets uniform as a Giants fan. And we'll put it on YouTube, we'll put it on the Twitter, we'll put it on Facebook, Instagram, everything. It's going everywhere because it's just going to be brilliant. It is. It's going everywhere. And then if Ethan makes an incorrect prediction and one of mine or Godwin's teams gets picked, essentially Ethan is going to have a Steelers logo and a Giants logo and an NFL logo shaved into his head. And he'll just have to wait for that to go out. And I've been told that if my prediction is incorrect and Godwin and Ethan are correct, that I have to dress up like a Bengals fan with tiger face paint and basically appear on campus and everywhere at work. I'm not doing it for a week. That's unfair. The face paint just won't last that long. It just won't last that long. I'll do it for as long as the face paint lasts, which will be one shower. So that's essentially what I'm going to have to do. I'll wear the jersey for a week, but I'll do the face paint for a day. That's fine. That's what I'll do.
You look so good as a tiger, mate. Yeah.
Do you know what? I think I'll look great. And on that note, if you also want to look great in NFL gear, you should check out our sponsor, FC Sports Clothing. You can find them on Instagram at FC Sports Clothing, Front Court Sports Clothing. They provide all American sportswear for you to enjoy over here in the United Kingdom. And you can follow your team with passion, with pride, and pretty much like Ethan at the moment, who doesn't own a Cardinals jersey, you can back your boys. So if you want to check them out, just go onto Instagram at FC Sports Clothing, and there'll be a link in their bio to their online store. Now, coming back to American football and away from clothing and what you're going to make me do because you're horrible people. The weekend had plenty of action for us all to enjoy. I'm going to throw my own team in there. We were actually very close against the Bengals. You particularly said off camera that we suck and we were going to lose by a lot. And when we were losing by a little bit, you started having a jip at me on WhatsApp. So, only losing by 7 points, which is less than the Giants lost to the Lions. We had a close game. We had some good performances out there. You know, I personally I'm happy if we can continue performing like that going forwards. Obviously, there's things I would change, Matt Canada, but you know, I'm happy.
It's week on week.
Yeah, it's week on week.
Like,
it doesn't stop.
I changed Matt Canada this week. Oh no, but we won. It's fine. He can stay.
No, I don't like Matt Canada. I've never liked Matt Canada. He just needs to leave. Every player doesn't like him. Let Kenny Pickett play. Let Pickett just do his thing. If anything, get the offensive coordinator in from Pitt State, uni,
Pitt State.
Not Pitt State. Man, that would be a cool uni. Pitt State Uni. What a place to be that would be. No, University of Pittsburgh. Get that offensive coordinator in.
Their mascot or logo would have to be someone like this. Pitt State.
Yeah, it's funny when I make the jokes. It's not so funny when you make jokes because they're not
you
actually.
can leave that in there as the most awkward attempt at a joke.
Yeah.
I'm just going to leave that in there as the most awkward thing you've ever done on this entire show in its existence. And we've had concept shows and everything.
We're in third episode?
This is episode 2, but it's good to know that Will's counting. So But yeah, in the UK, you do need a GCSE and maths to move up in life, and we'll need to check that later.
I did get it.
We're going to move on now because at time of recording, today is Thanksgiving, so happy Thanksgiving, or I guess Thanksgiving Happus would be the Welsh for it. You know,
I'd go with that.
We don't do Thanksgiving here, so of course, no other languages around this part have a Thanksgiving translation. Well, I'm coming to you first. What are you thankful for this year?
Thankful for this year?
Yeah.
So many things. Honestly, pretty thankful for the opportunities this Masters has given us, to be honest. It's so much fun. Like, obviously coming off the undergrad, you're like, okay, keep going into education. All right. But it's not really like the stuff we're doing now, the stuff we're doing week on week. It's not really work. It's just having a laugh. So I'd say pretty much getting on with that. Yeah, if I'm being thankful for anything, it's meeting you lot and cracking on with this.
You flow. Honestly. We're actually having breakfast all together after this. So, Ethan, what are you thankful for?
Yeah, sort of along the same lines, you know. Just thankful to be here with you fine gentlemen, even if you do support horrendous teams.
There we go. Yeah, I thought it was too good to be true to be fired up like that, actually.
Just the opportunity to be here chatting anything NFL with you fine gentlemen.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
That's really cute. Really cute.
It's nice.
That's nice.
And change where we go with this.
Well, I'm also thankful for being here. I'm thankful for being on this course. I'm thankful for meeting you guys and actually having people to talk to American football about. And I think we should take this ball that's in front of us on this table at one point, and we should maybe throw around a little bit.
Oh, absolutely.
On the pitches that we have here on campus. Maybe enjoy ourselves a little bit. But I'm gonna turn the Thanksgiving question on its head now. What are you thankful for in terms of NFL this season, Will?
This season?
Could be an individual. could be a whole team. Could be a fan base. You know, what are you thankful for from an American football standpoint?
My team having a winning record.
Right, that's boring. Ethan, what are you thankful? No, okay.
In 6 years.
You're thankful for their performance so far this year?
Yes. As a surprise to me as it was any other Giants fan, we were hopeful. Obviously, we're always hopeful every season to do well. That hasn't quite gone to plan for us the last few seasons, but this season is looking better and it's in the right direction. So I'm very thankful for it, and I'm looking forward to see how far we can take this momentum.
Amazing. And Ethan, what are you thankful for from an American football standpoint? I know you are romantically thankful for me, and I really appreciate that. But what are you thankful for from an American football standpoint?
So I'm actually thankful for the Jets. Come on, baby. I mean, we
just had a lovely moment on camera, so it's we've got it forever, and you've now ruined it by saying the Jets in front of a Giants fan.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, care to explain and elaborate a little bit more for us?
I don't need it. No. I don't need that.
The Jets have been so bad for so long, and then this year they've just come out of absolutely nowhere just to become this force which could potentially reach the playoffs. I mean,
they're still bottom of the division.
Yeah, but
on a winning record.
Mate, it's incredible. Jets, Jets.
Go home.
I mean, I agree, and we're going to talk about the Jets later as well. From my perspective, I am very thankful for Kenny Pickett. Not going to lie. I was a little bit worried.
Mike Canada.
Sorry?
Not Mike Canada.
No, I'm not thankful for Mike Canada. That's a great TikTok clip if we could get that. Yeah. I'm thankful for Kenny Pickett because I'm thankful for what he's brought into the side, you know, and the fact that Mike Tomlin has been willing to take that risk almost by bringing him in. You know, I was slightly sceptical with Mitch Trubisky being brought in, and I was even more concerned that Mason Rudolph would end up as QB1 because I went swimmingly well last time round. And I'm also thankful for George Pickens. My guy's come in there and he's just flying. And every team was like, oh, I don't want to pick him because of this. Oh, I don't want to pick him because I'm worried about his attitude. And I'm sorry, but actually makes him quite a character on the pitch. The amount of times where he's just shoved over the guy in front of him at scrimmage, you know, when the ball snaps, he's just like, goodbye, I'm going. You know, it's so much fun to watch. And the two of them together, I think, can really change the Pittsburgh Steelers' luck.
yeah, just going off George Pickens, he is a pancake machine. I mean, he could easily play O-line if he wanted to with the amount of pancakes he's dishing out.
This is true.
So, I mean, you know.
I'd love to see him come up against Cam Hayward, but until then, I'll keep him at wide receiver. But he also scored a rushing touchdown the other day as well. That was almost a miracle, really. Don't see many wide receivers doing that, apart from
Debo.
Tyreek Hill, maybe.
Tyreek.
Yeah.
Don't look at the Giants. We've got barely any receivers left.
Saquon could run it in occasionally.
He does. We're fourth in the NFL with rushing yards. I'm pretty sure. I'll just double check that. But yeah.
Well, the stats man.
Sorry, yeah, rushing yards.
You've heard of running man. You've heard of the bubble man. Me stats man.
Yeah, 157.2 yards. I don't know why 0.2, but it is what it is. Yeah, fourth. I'm pretty sure I would say that's average per game. So that's not bad. But yeah, we are passing yards is we don't need to mention.
I mean, speaking of running yards, I'm thankful for Najee Harris as well, and whatever he's been eating in off-season, because he is a tank now, an absolute unit, and he literally hurdled the Bengals defense to run in for a touchdown this weekend just gone. Like, the man is a machine. He's a god, literal god. So, yeah. That was my stomach. I apologise about that.
Interesting.
I'm hungry for more Najee touchdowns. That's what it is.
Interesting about...
I need more! You go.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, Jim. Interesting about all the rushing in the season is Derek Henry had a half-decent game this week.
Mm-hmm.
Just gone. He's been relatively quiet this year.
Well, there must have been pigs flying around Tennessee then during that game, if he actually had a decent one for once.
He had a half-decent game. 1 or 2 touchdowns. But yeah, I don't know what's going on, because that season there was one season last season or season before he went off, like he was scoring everything. They used him for pretty much every drive, and then all of a sudden dropped off the map.
Well, arguably last season he should have been the key for the Titans to actually get them to the Super Bowl. Yeah. I mean, they went in as first seeds into postseason, and they didn't make it any further. Pourquoi? I don't know. I honestly couldn't tell you, because up until that point, we all thought the Titans were going to go all the way, but they didn't. And they're just about, knocking on the door of postseason. Yes, I did do that. They're just about knocking on the door of postseason this year, but I don't know. It's just I'm not getting the same buzz about the Titans that I used to.
It's the magic of the NFL, isn't it?
Yeah.
We never know what's going to happen.
Everything turns. Everything changes. So
for all we know, Pittsburgh Steelers could make the playoffs.
They could. Impossible.
They won't, but they could.
hey! We are 3-7. I want to say 3-7, 3-8. Stats man, are we 3-7 or 3-8?
I believe you are 3-7.
Yeah, so we're 3-7 currently now. If we win every game from this point,
unlikely.
If we win every game from this point, we could make playoffs, but just about. I don't think it's possible. You also can't get into postseason on a losing record. And it would be Mike Tomlin's first ever losing season with the Steelers, which in itself is quite a whoa sort of moment. Like, this guy is amazing at what he does. But it just means we can go again next year, and we'll go 17-0. Yeah. You heard it here first on Transatlantic Touchdown. This time next year, Steelers will be 9-0.
0-17.
Yeah, I'm just trying to process
what he's just said.
Yeah.
Dreamer and delusional.
Well, I'll certainly be on a better record than the Cardinals, so...
you never know. Kyler could put down his PlayStation or whatever.
Hey, I heard there's a new Battlefield coming out, though, and that's essentially Call of Duty, but budget version, so...
Well, he's just... Come on. I've been through enough this season, don't you think?
No, the season's not done yet, mate. We've not even made it to the Christmas games, and that will be just as exciting. So yeah, well, But leading now into our next session, another thing that I am thankful for, I am thankful for Front Court Sports Clothing, the only clothing company that you need to go to in the United Kingdom in order to get your American sports merchandise and also fan gear that you can wear to support your teams. Just find them on Instagram at FC Sports Clothing and you'll be able to grab all the merch your heart desires. They're a small business based out of the south of Wales, just like us, and we're here to support them just as they're supporting us. And that leads us nicely into the FC Sports Pick of the Week. I'm just thinking maybe we get some intro music for it next time.
Yeah, it would be pretty good. Get hype,
Will, what's your pick of the week? That was good, right?
It's
good.
It's got to be the clash in.
What, Cardiff Met versus
division.
Cardiff Union? No, that's not until 14th of December, mate.
Yeah.
No, what?
14th of December on your TVs at Met Sport TV.
Actually, no. Bucks are the ones that are streaming it, so don't listen to him.
Never mind. Don't do that.
So, we've got a clash this weekend. What is the clash?
The clash is the NFC. It is the Cowboys versus Giants. This is so both my team and the other one are on record. Sorry, Cowboys are on records of 7-3. Both quite tight. Honestly, I don't really know how to approach this game. We've won not many of the last clash between those two teams. We lost the last one not quite convincingly. But yeah, I'm really hoping that we can turn it around. I did just check the schedule. Actually, we got them at least once more. After this is the last one I haven't. But after that, it's divisional clashes. We've got Commanders, Eagles, Commanders, and then Vikings, Colts, and then Eagles again. We haven't got an easy schedule for the rest of the season.
So this idea of postseason might be slipping away.
No.
No.
And we're still going to come out at least third, and I reckon we can clinch a wildcard spot.
So who's winning this weekend?
I'm going to say Giants. I think we will win it.
You're going for the whole. I believe that we will win.
Yeah.
You're gunning for it.
Yeah.
I believe that
I
we will
think
win.
we can win. Dak has been less than convincing this year, even though that he was half decent last week. But their backup that they've had. Sorry.
No, you go.
Their backup.
Cooper Rush.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't know. Cowboys irrelevant to me.
It's actually Ethan's special talent. He can name any QB and sometimes the QB2 on any team. Sometimes the QB2.
But Cooper Rush has been, to be fair to him, he's been brilliant this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do. If we just have to, that first drive, I think we have to score, and that has got to be, that's got to be a touchdown. If we
Can't be a field goal.
I think if we just go for field goals, we're going to struggle because it sets tone for the rest of the game. I think we need to go out strong, need to go out kicking.
2-point attempt on the touchdown.
No, it stays safe, but we need that touchdown. I think.
Well, it's just you said statement of intent, for how you want the game to go on. I didn't know whether 2-point might be something you flirt with the idea of in front of the Cowboys.
I think we need to be smart, definitely smart in that game because they're a good team. I may not be their biggest, advocate, but they are pretty good, and we need to be smart about this. But I do think we can get the win.
Fair play.
I totally disagree.
Oh, dear.
I think the Cowboys are going to absolutely smash the Giants.
Cushed
You saw them dismantle the Vikings.
But I think Cooper Rush has proven the point that actually Will was starting to touch on there, that Dak Prescott isn't all he's made out to be. He is not the glitz and glamour and the key for the Cowboys' success. And actually, their wide receiver core, their O-line, their D-line, their safeties all work together in harmony and really stand out in the NFL. And that's what's getting them victories at the moment. I mean, you could put anyone in there. You could put Trey Lance on crutches in there. The Cowboys would still win games by the looks of things. So, yeah, I'm kind of with Will on this. I don't think Dak Prescott's all this made out to be, but I am interested to see, where you're going with this whole idea of the Cowboys are amazing.
I think it'll be close.
I don't think losing by 40 would be close, but hey ho. So no, the Cowboys, like you said, Dak isn't all that great, as we've recently discovered through Cooper Rush playing amazingly. But I think the weapons they have. I mean, they got Zeke and Tony Pollard in the backfield doing amazing, especially Tony Pollard. They got Michael Gallup and CeeDee Lamb and receivers. I mean, the O-line is just incredible. So I just think they have the tools. They just need Dak not to be a hero and to just guide the team to beat the New York Football Giants.
Well, would you say that's what cost them in postseason last year? Was it Dak trying to be a hero?
Yeah. I can't say anything more than yeah.
Well, I mean, and on that point, obviously with two very differing opinions of what's going to happen in that game, what is your matchup of the weekend?
So, boys, my matchup is the Tennessee Titans versus Cincinnati Bengals. I think this is the game to watch.
Do you want me to just get Joe Burrow's phone number for you? Because you are obsessed with him. Should I get you guys on a little date? Or
Mate, he's a cool dude. I mean, he's
You
swag.
said, I think any of us would probably want to dress like him. Like, the man has swagger.
He does have swagger, and he has a certain record that's not family friendly to discuss on this podcast. But I'm sure if you want Ethan to talk about it in a future video, he can.
But no, that's my game of this week. I mean, Tennessee Titans are 7-3, and Bengals are 6-4, I believe. So I mean, both on decent records, both hoping to go to the playoffs, and could be Super Bowl contenders.
Big game for the Bengals then, because if they lose that and they go to 6-5, that's when you start talking about losing season potentially, unless they really turn it around.
That's why it's such a big game. I mean, so yeah, that's my pick for the weekend, and I think both teams will have success. I'm gonna side with the Bengals. I think they'll come out on top. But yeah, I don't know what you boys think.
Stop smiling at me. They're not even your team.
Coming to the Super Bowl!
You just don't want to wear
Let's
Jets
go!
uniform.
No, I don't.
You're going to record your musical number and you're going to wear that jersey for a week and you're going to love it, okay? Because the Bills are winning the Super Bowl. But enough on that. The Bengals-Titans game itself.
Mm-hmm.
Titans starting Malik Willis?
Oh, that's a good question. I would, if I was them.
Have you been impressed with him so far this
Yeah.
season? Because obviously he
Absolutely.
was touted as the number one QB in the draft. But the first quarterback that got picked was Kenny Pickett by Pittsburgh, which kind of shocked everyone, including myself, because I thought we were going to get Malik Willis. It's worked out for the best, though. We made the right decision. Is Malik Willis all he's made out to be? Or
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's his rookie season, so you've got to take some things he does with a pinch of salt. He's still learning. He's still new to the game. He's seen things that you'd never seen in college before. But I think he is this new age of QB that we're seeing in the NFL. He's your sort of Lamar Jackson out of the pocket, extend plays with his feet, but can also throw. So I think if they can develop him, next few years, he could be top five QB. Hopefully.
interesting.
Do we also see, in link to that, going on the Bengals news this week of Jamar Chase turning up to practice for the first time being like he was a participant in practice for the first time since week 7. Are we going to have him back for Joe Burrow, and how much is that going to impact their game?
Well, we know how much Joe Burrow loves throwing it to Jamar Chase and how key he really was on that charge last year to go all the way to the Super Bowl. Like, he was potentially the Bengals' best player all year, bar Joe Burrow. We just love him, okay? He's huge. If you get the opportunity to bring him into a game sooner than you thought you could, absolutely you do. 100%. But then you've also got to ask yourself the question of, are we rushing this? Are we bringing him in too soon? And is he just going to be out for longer? Because the last thing they want is for a season-ending injury or something that happens to him that means that he's not going to be around for the rest of the year. Because we talk about how close they are to ending up on a losing record. Without him, is that potentially going to happen?
I don't know. The thing is, the Bengals, the definitely thing something they got to think about this week is the Titans are run heavy.
Yep.
And they've also got a potential return for Josh Dupu. I think I'm saying this right. Apologies if I've made that wrong. So he hasn't played since week 5, and because of the Titans' run heavy offense, his return would be huge for this week, especially. I think, like Ethan said, they do need to win this week if they are getting that Super Bowl slot, or sorry, playoff spot even. I don't think we've got to worry too much. They're in the top 2, and the other 2 teams have considerable losing records. But I think they need to keep this momentum going. And yeah, they're both returning for both those 2 would be great. Like you said, Jamar Chase. They've got to be careful how they do that. I'm sure they will be.
It sounds like you're agreeing with me and saying the Bengals are going to win this game.
Oh yeah, no, I am fully backing the Bengals. I'm just
of course
saying,
he's fully backing the Bengals, because unless he does, he's wearing a Jets uniform. He's singing a West Side Story now.
you know,
So moving away from the Bengals now, my massive pick of the week, speaking of gold wins, forfeit, the Jets are playing the Bears. Jets.
Yeah, go away.
Well, so yeah, the Jets are playing the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears, not a great team, and they haven't been for a while. And it is slightly concerning because of the history of that franchise, because of the historical stadium they play out of. Disappointing really. But the Jets have made a rogue decision this week. And Ethan, I know that you're particularly passionate about this one because they've decided not to play Zach Wilson, even though he is the one that has led them forward into this winning record.
Yeah, I mean, Zach Wilson is literally responsible for this 5-2
so
result.
Rude. I'm so sorry if anyone picked that up. Godwin's just decided it's so boring we're talking about the Jets. He's going to play a video of his own. He's going to keep himself entertained. No, he's that done with the Jets and hearing the name Jets that he wants to do anything else rather than talk about them. I think that's appalling. Ethan, sorry about that interruption.
You have to repeat your question.
I expect it from a Giants fan. It's fine. But no, yeah, Zach Wilson, he's led them to the 5-2 record. The 2 losses came against the Patriots, which, not ideal, but Zach Wilson has shown a lot of promise. I mean, he's got an absolute cannon for an arm. And it seems like he could be the QB of the future. It's just something's happening in New York with Robert Saleh, which...
Do you think it's behind the scenes? It's something internal that we actually can't see or don't have evidence of?
Yeah, it's got to be. I mean, you don't bench a 5-2 QB for the backup, Mike White. Mike White's a good player, but he's not Zach Wilson. So, I mean, there has to be something going on behind the scenes. So, it'll just be interesting to see what comes out of this process.
Now, I would ask you what you think of this decision, but ultimately you don't care and you'd love to see them lose.
I actually had some insight into the whole Zach Wilson thing.
Please elaborate for us.
Yeah.
So, is it because he was seen wearing a Giants uniform?
No. So Zach, obviously New York Jets, over the past recent years, it's been seen as that's the place QB's going to die. They've had high slots in the first round of the draft for a few years. So, and obviously we've seen you've seen Sam Darnold, he went there. Mistake. I mean, Sam Darnold, granted, I don't think he's not the best pick to come out of the draft. Zach Wilson definitely has promise. Like Ethan was saying, you don't bench a 5-2 QB. He said, yeah. Interestingly, though, his stats are a little different because regardless of the fact that he's performed well, he's helped his team get his team rather than him have made a huge difference. He's posted a 4 to 5 touchdown to interception ratio, so he's had more interceptions than touchdowns that he's been involved with. His passer rating is pretty good, so his receivers are doing the job. But yeah, his worst performance was last week, which is maybe why they're looking at bringing Mike White in. Mike White in.
He doesn't care. He's a Giants fan.
It's not I don't care. It's just...
But it's almost still a bit harsh, though. You make one bad performance, arguably in his entire season, and he's benched for it. Other franchises, like if Patrick Mahomes had a bad game for the Chiefs, they don't just turn around and bench him the very next week because he is pivotal to their game plan and for the future of that franchise. So I don't really understand how the Jets could almost justify it in a way. I don't know.
I mean, if they win, then they'll be laughing all the way.
Absolutely. If they win, then hey, happy days. But if they don't, that's a big deal. And it's a decision that has not paid off for them. So,
Yeah. They've labelled it as a sabbatical through the NFL. The fact that Wilson needs this week to just take a break, just look on from the side. I think they want to preserve. I think their coach has said that they want to preserve his ambitions of being the franchise quarterback, and certainly that's what they hope he will be. Because I personally think they need him if they're going to do anything this season. But yeah, like you said, it is a very interesting decision. Even though he's had possibly one awful game, which was New England Patriots last week. Yes, they need to pick it up, I think, and see what this week can hold for him.
Fair enough. Well, and on that bombshell, we're going to start to draw to a close, gents. But before we do, people who are watching this on YouTube, and obviously you're getting a more extended version of this podcast as a result, you might have noticed that Ethan and I are sporting some very fetching moustaches. I've got my RAF fighter pilot moustache. You've got your, I'm going to call it French baker, your boulangerie's burnt to the ground, and now you're wandering the streets of Paris with baguettes in either arm. That's the vibe that I'm going for here with you.
No, I'll take it, yeah.
And Godwin is a year 7 starting his first day at school. But the reason why we have this fantastic facial hair is because it is the month of November. We're sporting Movember as a charity. There will be a link in our bio where you can donate to our Movember page. We're doing a joint effort as a Masters cohort on Cardiff Met Sport TV's Masters program, and we're just looking to raise awareness of men's testicular and prostate cancer, as well as raising awareness for men's mental health charities, because unfortunately not enough men talk about their mental health and feel open enough to talk about their feelings. And so I want to end the show on that note by saying if you can support us, that would be amazing, because I'm not growing this just for no reason. This is not a fashion statement. If anything, it's made me realise maybe facial hair isn't for me. No, it is, because otherwise I look like I am 12 and I'll look like Will. So yeah, all that's left to say really is just, gents, thank you so much for joining me again. Thank you for talking NFL with me. I am thankful for you, going back to that point earlier. And I'm thankful for anyone watching or listening at home, as always. And anything that you want to end on before I say goodbye?
I'd personally just say, because just we're talking about NFL, and it is such a macho sport, the Movember thing is such an important thing. So we went around, I think we did a couple of stuff around campus, and it was surprising how many people didn't know what it was. So I think it's really important that we raise awareness for it. And so even though you can see that I cannot grow facial hair, I did make my attempt earlier this month, but it was not working. So I'm donating money instead. But please, if you can, make the effort in any way you see fit. Absolutely. Use this month when we grow our mows to check in on a bro. Gents, thank you so much for joining me today. I have been joined by Ethan Walsh.
How's it going?
No, you're saying goodbye. You're saying goodbye. I was actually waiting for you to go, oh, yeah, that was only Cardinals, yeah.
Right, yeah. Tell you what, I'll do that,
We'll try that one again. Yeah, thank you for watching. I've been joined. I'm going to keep this all in because it's funny. I've been joined by Ethan Walsh.
Yep, Arizona Cardinals, thank you.
And by William Godwin. A great impression of every Giants fan. And I've been James Roberts. I support the Pittsburgh Steelers. Up the boys, it's picket time, baby. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Transatlantic Touchdown Podcast. We'll see you again next time. Let's go!